to do with that in the future.
Mythic Plus.
One thing I haven't had a chance to talk about that I think is hopefully pretty cool. We have some fun plans for Mythic Plus today.
Let's see what it is.
Mythic Plus is just about my favorite feature out there, but running no matter what we do with affixes, running the same dungeon for like 18 months straight, it wears a little thin by the end, and
Yeah.
and people aren't necessarily that keen on like refarming the same item, 26 eye levels higher each tier.
Yeah.
And we also have this wealth of awesome old content that is still super fun, as we see with things like Legion Time Walking. And so, what we'd like to do for Dragonflight is launch with 8 new dungeons, but have Season 1 of Dragonflight Mythic Plus be comprised of actually 4 of those new Dragonflight dungeons, plus a mix of 4 dungeons picked from older expansions that never had Mythic Plus before, but we can, whether it was an old Mist Challenge mode, Warlords dungeon, etc., probably not Shadowland stuff because that's too recent, have that flesh out the Season 1 pool, then have Season 2 be the 4 other Dragonflight dungeons, plus 4 other old ones, and actually basically have complete turnover from season to season in terms of what the pool looks like, and really freshen up the experience. I think
No. A big no. Like, if you have 8 new dungeons, let those 8 new dungeons be there right away, okay? Cool, if you want to bring old dungeons as Mythic Pluses, sure. That's a yes, but giving like 8 new dungeons and then only 4 of them for Mythic Plus, and then the other 4 would be from old you're trying to make it exciting, but that's not the way how you can make Mythic Plus exciting. If you want to make Mythic Plus exciting, here's a short list of ideas that you can do. Number 1, Mythic Plus Keystone can no longer be depleted. Boo! Everyone likes it. Number 2, let the player or the group choose what affix they want to play. I don't like Necrotic. I don't play Necrotic. Easy as that. Rework the Necrotic because it's bad. Or make like an achievement that you have completed all the dungeons with Necrotic, you get a reward. And to be more specific to it, make the achievement class, or not even class, but specialization focused. So you completed all dungeons with Necrotic on a survival hunter. You get title, you get glyphs, whatever. Paint rewards, I mean like new colors for your animations, whatever, that would be exciting. People would just actually play it. And like you said, you see the idea, that the problem, that 18 months of doing the same dungeon over and over and over again it's not gonna last. But if you're doing that all the time on one character, one spec, that is really boring and it can wear off. But if you make like account-wide most stuff, alts very friendly, then the experience of doing the same dungeon but on a different specialization, which you have like 36, you have 38 with the new class, on every single of those, the experience feels different. And that's the replayability that you have already in the game. But you're blocking it with bad systems, bad designs, and not alt friendliness. There are players that, they play a warrior. They're playing it for 3 months, they've done all the dungeons, they farmed everything, and now you're worried that what? They will not subscribe and not play it. Well, they will not, because they cannot do anything else from it. They've invested so much time into that one character that if they want to try out, let's say, change from Fury Warrior to an Arms Warrior, well, that's easy to do, but still it's hard, because Arms Warrior focuses on crit haste, I think. At least that was what the stats were for Season 1, Season 2. But when you change to Fury Warrior from Arms, you want to prioritize Haste Mastery. And then you're like, okay, I need to bring a different set, I farmed, oh, I don't have the item, I can't work towards the item. And then, the players are gonna be like, fuck this shit, I'm not playing this. But if you make the classes available, like easier, gear them up, progress on them, at least on your alts, it's much faster than on your main once you do it once, players are gonna replay your content. If you allow him, players are gonna replay the content if you allow him to. The thing that I talked about, the professions, where after a week you can just disenchant the materials, push it to your letter classes, and you can experience the same game, in a different way on a different character. And on top of that, you should also change the MDI, because you're promoting very unhealthy meta building. Like, everyone wants to play just this one specific party in Mythic Plus. And if you're not that class, you will never, I mean, maybe not never, but you'll have a lot of pain to go through to play Mythic Plus. Try playing Mythic Plus as a Shadow Priest. Not gonna happen. Try to play Mythic Plus as a Affliction Warlock. Affliction is good now? I don't know. Just try, okay? No one is gonna invite. Why? Because you're promoting unhealthy meta builds with your MDI. Instead of the MDI you have right now, cut that shit off and create the MDI where it will be like this. Okay, this MDIs, you have like a roulette basically of balls, of categories, and then poof. You have just selected ball number 7. Oh, ball number 7. It says complete Mythic Plus 18 with Necrotic Affix. And you have to have 3 different warlock specs. Tank, random, healer has to be cloth, so it'll be priest. Disci or holy, you choose. And that's the category for the one race that the MDA has to deal with. And then the pro players, let them figure out the best way to play warlocks for that challenge. And then the next race, you select a random ball again, and it's gonna be, oh, number 8 says full plate group. Have fun. That way you promote other classes so that the community just sees that, oh, you can do plus 20s with shit classes. Shit classes. Because they're not shit. They are very capable of doing it. It's just that you're promoting fastest. Sure, speedrunning is nice, but speedrunning is good for single player game where every player has the same exact stuff to play. And for a MMO like this, where you have 36 specializations to play with, you're forcing just the as fast as possible. So shit. And on top of that, you could make leaderboards for every kind of spec. That you're in top 0.5% of survival hunters doing all the dungeons on certain, like, you know, maybe not certain affixes, but like in general, you get a reward. Mount, maybe not mount, because mounts are boring. You're +1, you have to rework that as well, but could be a mount. Glyph that you have, like, you can recolor your pet to have stripes like a zebra, whatever. There's so much creativity you can put into this. And then the player will be like, yeah, I want to be the best. What's shit right now? What's shit in Mythic Plus? Because nothing is shit. All the classes are good. It's just that the MDI is just showing players that this is the best. You have to play this. This is the best. That's also a toxic design, because the gearing, how you gear, and what's the idea of doing Mythic Plus? You're doing it for gear, whatever, weekly quest, you want to get through it as fast as possible. You have to rework the gearing system because it's toxic. It brings the worst out of people. The problem in Mythic Plus is not the dungeons, it's the way you can engage with the dungeons. That's the thing here. If you're a DPS without friends, and you have a hard time making friends, good luck. If you're not a meta class, they're gonna wait 2 hours in the queue and be like, yeah, 2 hours, fucking hell, I have to go to sleep in 30 minutes because I'm waking up tomorrow for my job or school. That's the problem here. Also, Mythic Plus, you should make a looking for dungeon for Mythic Plus, like a solo queue. You have completed the previous level of the dungeon difficulty with the previous affixes. Boom, you can queue for the next level. And on top of that, you have to rework the gearing power acquisition to make this also good. But
if you're someone who's trying to come along later on in the expansion or pick up tanking or whatever else,
yeah,
the burden of community knowledge can very quickly become dauntingly high.
It's pretty rough, but if you make this looking for dungeon Mythic Plus tool, but you go slowly from +1, +2, +3, +4, and you don't have to do it manually looking for people, because no one wants to do that crap, okay? But if you make a tool where you go with your alt and you have to go through those steps, maybe for alts we would have to think of something else, but if you make a tool where you can queue up automatically, it's not daunting anymore, because you just click and you play whatever class you are. And maybe you could also on top of that make like a, maybe not +1, +2, +3, but make it like within the range, at least for the lower difficulties. So from 1 to 15, So let's say you're doing a +2. You can queue up with people that are on +3 in the same queue. And then once you get to do the +4, you can get with people from +4 to +6. Doesn't matter what dungeon you add. 5 dungeons, 50 dungeons, doesn't matter. At least they have noticed that they're doing it wrong. And they noticed what's wrong, okay? So they see the problem. Can they figure out the solution?